In the realm of architectural education, the mental well-being of students is a critical aspect often overlooked. This research delves into the intriguing questions of how different plate materials utilized in architectural projects might influence the stress levels experienced by students. The choice of this topic, entitled A Comparative Study, Impact of Plates on Stress Levels of Architecture Students, stems from the growing recognition of the demanding nature of architectural studies and the need to explore factors that may contribute to or alleviate the stress burden. Through this comparative study, we aim to shed light on the nuanced relationship between plate materials and the stress levels among architecture students, offering valuable insights for both academic and practical considerations.
For our hypothesis, we have a null and alternative hypothesis. Our null hypothesis is there is no significant increase in the stress level of architecture students before and after doing a plate. Our alternative hypothesis is there is a significant increase in the stress level of architecture students before and after doing a plate. After we have established our hypothesis, we proceeded to data gather. To collect our data, we decided to choose a method that is most accessible and fitted for our topic, which is through a digital survey questionnaire. We created a Google form and disseminated it to different group chats exclusive in our college department, since our target respondents are 25 architecture students at any year level.
Explanation of the solution. After gathering the data, the members have then extracted it into two sets in which these are shown through the columns of the stress level before doing a plate and after doing a plate. It can also notice that the sample size is 25 as it is the minimum requirement in garnering a normal distribution. Now in finding a relationship between these data, which incorporates two variables that are separated by time, it is suitable to use the t-test, specifically the paired two-sample for means. Furthermore, in finding a conclusion regarding this type of problem, the members have utilized Microsoft Excel, which could provide a much more organized set of answers. First, the level of significance were identified, wherein the researchers have adopted the value of 0.05 or 5%, which is the standard value for alpha. Second, the type of tailed test which this problem falls into is one-tailed test, as its hypothesis looks for an increase or decrease in parameter. Lastly, through the use of Microsoft Excel, the data were set to be processed under the Data Analysis tab and then the option of t-test paired two-sample for means. Providing the results, it has been shown that the column for the stress level before doing a plate has garnered a mean of 3.08, a variance of 1.66 with a sample size of 25. On the other hand, the column for the stress level after doing a plate has provided a mean of 4 and a variance of 1.42. Together, the p-value that we are going to utilize in comparison with the level of significance is the p-value for one-tailed test, which is approximately 0.012871. Now that we have provided the needed data in accordance to the stress level of the architecture students before and after doing a plate, it is time to analyze the results to come up with a decision and conclusion.
In analyzing the result, it is important to gather necessary data to come up with a decision and conclusion. We remember that the null hypothesis should be rejected if the p-value is less than the level of significance. Otherwise, it should be rejected if it is greater than or equal. In our case, since the resulted p-value is less than the level of significance or 0.05, the decision should be reject the null hypothesis. On the other hand, the conclusion should come up with the alternative hypothesis.
After conducting the t-test and calculating the p-value, it is crucial to interpret the results directly to make hypotheses. The null hypothesis assumes no significant difference, while the alternative hypothesis suggests significant difference either greater than or less than the specific value. To draw a conclusion, we calculated test statistics with the critical value of obtained from statistical tables or software which is Excel. The calculated test statistic falls within the 0.01 p-value. Therefore, we reject the null hypothesis and conclude that there is sufficient evidence to support our alternative hypothesis since there is an increased level of stress for architecture students. I hope you found this comparative study impact of plates on stress levels of architecture students informative. Thank you.
To plan our task, we first brainstormed different topics to choose from. We ended up choosing a topic related to stress as it is something that we as architecture students can relate to. In doing this task in my part, I didn't receive any help from anyone other than my group mates. The main challenge we encountered is getting architecture students to answer our survey since some of them ignored our message when we sent the link of the Google form. My main contribution is the hypothesis and the explanation for the data gathering, as well as the formulation of the questions in our survey questionnaire.
How did you come up with the idea and how did you plan your task? By brainstorming, and you plan our task by gathering a data through online survey. Did you get any help or support other than yourself or group mates? Yes. And what are the challenges you encountered while doing the final output? The challenges that I encountered while doing the final output is on how can I be able to finish my remaining plates on my other subjects and this final output before the deadline. For groups, what are your contributions in the final output? My contribution in this final output is to introduce our topic and what we are aiming for on why we choose it.
How did you come up with an idea? We came up with an idea by brainstorming and suggesting ideas to each other. We helped each other by volunteering to create a part of the task. We encountered a difficult time gathering the data since some of the people were just ignoring the Google form we provided in different group chats. Since I have knowledge of creating Google Forms, I volunteered to create one and to create a conclusion for our video.
How did you come up with the idea? From the option, we decide to choose the letter A. Then nag-isip na kami ng pwedeng i-title na related sa architecture. After that, we create a survey questionnaire that will be answered by 25 architecture students. And yun, tuloy-tuloy na hanggang sa matapos. Did you get any help or any support other than yourself or group mates? No. What are the challenges you encountered by doing Beta 3? Wala naman. What are your contribution in the beta? My contribution is to explain and analyze the result of our research.
So, how did you come up with the idea? In choosing our topic, we first gathered our insights until we have agreed to the idea of exploring stress-related concerns among architecture students. We believe that it is truly relevant and could potentially provide a reference for future study to enhance upon. I didn't get any support from anyone besides from my groupmates, which helped me overcome some challenges related to this task. In addition, the challenges that we have encountered are the lack of time preparation, as there are also major plates that are overriding our schedule. Plus, some students doesn't seem interested in answering our form, but in no time, we gathered enough sample size for the t-test. Lastly, I provided my part on the editing and shared my knowledge for organizing and garnering solutions for the data analysis.